episode 22.
Welcome.
I was going to introduce you, but I guess that works. Saves me the trouble.
It's me. It's me, the guy who finally got paid. You weren't paying me enough.
I had to renew his contract for exactly one episode.
Only one.
Only one.
I won't be back.
So, I'm going to get this out of the way now because I prefaced Austin before it even came on.
Boy, did he.
I just want to bring this up briefly, and that way we don't have to talk about it for the rest of the episode because I feel like the people that follow expect me to talk about this shit when it comes up, and I would be delightful too.
My expectation is the hope that you don't talk about it.
Was I allowed to curse there? I don't know how that works on YouTube.
I forget the amount of time. I forget the amount of time that you have to wait until you can actually cuss in a YouTube video.
I am working on it.
And then it's like, okay, you're good.
I don't
know if, I don't know if it was like 15 seconds or 30 seconds or something, or like over a minute.
Oh, then I should be okay. I am working on it. I'm trying my best not to talk like a sailor as much these days. Okay, so here it comes. There was a little bit of news surrounding a certain individual at Bungie that recently got because it was coming out that they were being a little inappropriate with some of the female staff. So this is nothing new to the game development industry. We had Ubisoft and COVID.
It's awful to say. That is awful to say. Oh, it's nothing new.
It unfortunately isn't. And all of a sudden, when these sort of things happen, all of a sudden we care about inclusivity. Ubisoft had their little ordeal, and then all of a sudden, here's all of our foundations and what we value and this, that, and the other. Happened to Blizzard, and all of a sudden, woman is the CEO. Happens to Bungie.
And to be fair, I think Ubisoft's was the worst because they literally killed somebody.
Yes. They will suffer eternally. Oh, I have something to talk about with Ubisoft later. Bungie happens to them. All of a sudden, here's the Bungie Foundation where we donate to every little cause. Also, here's our new foundation, Women at Bungie. Oh, also, Kids at Bungie. To help everybody out. How'd that get there, I wonder? These things that they could have done at any point.
Wait, like donation foundations?
Oh, yeah.
At the company.
At the company.
To support, okay, children is one thing, I guess, but to support women at the company.
Yes.
Did they think about paying them?
Yes.
What?
Introducing Women at Bungie, one of Bungie's new inclusion clubs.
Introducing new to Bungie woman.
Basically, the tagline is that it's a club for any employee that identify as a woman to build an equitable work environment. And I just want to throw this out there. This happened just so you guys know that I'm not pulling one over on you. Okay, this all happened in COVID. So within a span of COVID, everybody was coming out with more Me Too allegations. And then Bungie was getting thrown out, left, right, and center. Couple of allegations here, allegations there, allegations in the games that Bungie developed with the content creators as a whole. So what happens? Within a span of that year, let's say way closer to January of 2021. So within a 3-year margin of that, 3-month margin of that, there's a club, Women at Bungie. And it's just to help the industry as a whole. All of a sudden. And because of that little thing, all of a sudden nobody cares that all of these allegations happened because I sure as hell haven't heard anything about the allegations after the fact. There was no resolutions, or at least it didn't seem that way. And then all of a sudden, here's this inclusivity effort at this company where people were yelling bloody murder at, everything happening. But that's not the focus of this little segment. So Marathon has been talked about by me like too much, and I think I'm fortunate enough in where I'm at in my content creation goals that people expect me to like kind of just talk relatively positive, I guess, about like certain games, but not stay with them for long term, unless it was Dark Tide, in which case you guys got a raw deal. But we are coming back anyway. What I mean by that is games that I stream like often. I'm not expected to like stick with it.
You
like,
stream often,
like Phasmophobia. When I was like really big into that, to the point where I was able to, at a glance, call out, "Oh, it's that. Oh, it's this," before the big remake or update.
We were always wrong, still somehow.
During the update,
we were so assured on so many ghosts, and nope, somehow it's not this.
Before
all this evidence. No, it's actually this one that doesn't have any of that evidence. Classic Phasmophobia. And then especially after the update, and then it's all fucking over.
So, yeah, people are kind of just saying that Bungie more or less is screwed, and this would be kind of why. I don't really understand how this is screwing Bungie over compared to everything else that's happening, but we'll run it. So Chris Barrett, he was Marathon's director. In other words, he was like the head honcho of that project. So everything that goes into the game is because of his, say and how he wants things done. Chris Barrett was quoted as doing unwanted and inappropriate things to female staff, including messages. And he was let go. Now, the reason why I haven't spoke on this yet is because I spoke on this last year. I didn't know what was going down with Bungie at that time, but I did know one thing. Chris Barrett wasn't the director, and we've known about this a while back because he was replaced by somebody else. Now we're getting the why. Because there was no nothing behind it. He left, and we're just like, all right. And that was before all of the recent Bungie turmoil with letting go staff within like a 5-month period. But we knew that there was a new director. For some reason, there was a new director. Yeah, back in March. So as far back as March, we knew that something had went down. We just didn't know why. And the why now is, well, he was doing some crazy, crazy stuff. And I think...
how hard is it not to send just messages to like several people in your studio and be a fucking creep? How hard is that?
Very. Because...
Clearly.
Okay. This is going to be kind of weird. Because this has been a running theme within Bungie's network for as long as they've been around. Even in the OG like Halo era, like
sexual harassment.
Yes. There's more stories coming out that you guys were kind of scumbags as far back as Halo, and nobody said anything because it was like the mid 2000s, and I guess I don't know, it was like culturally acceptable to be a fucking psycho. I don't know where we go from here, but people are treating this as like DEFCON 1. It's over. We're done.
I know it's been over. It's just taking its time to be over.
And
considering people are not hopeful for Marathon.
No, they're not. That game is, I don't. Here's my problem with just general game development in this modern era. It was fine as far back as like 05 to just have like a publication that, oh, we're working on this game. But with the way that things like travel now, everybody can talk about something and people are already getting in their heads from their groups, from their social circles, from what they're seeing on social media to what they're seeing on other publications that, publication that they don't normally read even. They're able to already tell at a glance, this game isn't going to do well. I'm going to avoid this game at all costs, which I think internally will lead to just fundamentally a game that is dead on arrival. My biggest proponent to this was the recently released Concord. I'm not going to get into that. You guys have heard me talk about this game to death.
I was just about to say, I don't think Marathon, frankly, can do any worse than Concord is right now. The thing that, because I didn't get to talk about it, let me just say, the thing that keeps boggling my mind is that they took 8 years.
Yes.
They were 8 years late on a hero shooter.
Yes.
And in the 8-year release window, when it started development, was Overwatch 1. What were they doing for 8 years? There's mocap stuff, like the very expensive mocap stuff that they keep touting that like Sony was all behind and whatnot. But like it just yet again goes to show that like impressive graphics will not sell your game if all of the designs are so unforgettable.
So just to put this in a perspective, the original Uncharted, the very first one, that took 2 years to develop.
You see the same video that I did? Because I feel like you're pulling that out of nowhere.
No, actually, I pulled up a list of games that were shortened. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny. I saw a video earlier. The biggest flop in gaming history.
All right, I think that's a stretch.
I mean, I would say so.
Here's the problem.
It's up there, but I don't think it's the biggest one.
Let me ask. In this particular video, did the creator mention anything about Steam player count?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Right out of the get-go, because, quote, that's like the only metric that we really have to look at.
Because I was going to say, Sony has their own internals. I'm sure the game is doing phenomenally on that platform just because of how it's plastered on that platform.
I think it's doing all right. I don't think the price point is really helping it when Overwatch 2 right now is free to play.
And this was what I said last solo episode. The games that we currently have are free, and you're trying to get in on a piece of that. And that's hard to do for PC players because the games that are ported to them are free in general. But I was pulling up like certain things that like it didn't take too long for certain games to develop. Like you look at Resident Evil 4, the OG. That started development in 2000 and then shipped 05. I think the remake is what that started with Studio M, and then Capcom was like, no, we're doing this in-house. I think that was somewhere in like 2021, so it didn't take that long for in-house to get kind of on board with the game.
Well, the difference is like they knew what they wanted going into the remake. With the original one, like there were like so many games that just came out of the development of that. Like it's ridiculous. Like you have God Hand eventually with like a Studio Clover. You had a Haunting Ground. Onimusha took at least, or was going to take inspiration from that. Onimusha 3, that is. Because I read up on a interview, Shinji Mikami was saying that Onimusha 3 would have been so better if it had released after RE4, because then we would have had that like third person camera and it would have looked really good.
Hell yeah. There
was also a quote from him that I didn't know about that is very famous, that I read up about recently when I had done my annual RE4 streams. And it was him saying that RE4 will not go to any other console. And if it does, I will cut off my own head. Did you ever hear that?
No.
Neither did I, but apparently he was quoted saying that. And then, oops, later that year, it comes to the PS2 from the GameCube.
Did he cut off his own head?
No, he's still alive. In saying that, Dino Crisis can't possibly make a comeback because Capcom already has a dinosaur game. You know which game that is? Monster Hunter, apparently. The action hunting simulator. We already have that. We can't possibly have a horror game. They're the same genre, apparently. We can't.
I thought you were, for some reason, going to mention like the very, 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 very early in development tech demo. God, I don't even remember what it was called. The game that should be free to play. That's also dinosaur related.
Exoprimal. I mean, it did release. That's unfortunate because there was a cool concept behind it. But like everybody was like, why isn't this Dino Crisis though? I was interested in it.
Not interested.
I'm glad I wasn't because I would have been disappointed.
Not enough.
Not in it being bad or anything, but just like there wasn't enough interest.
So just to reel this back. Welcome back. No. So Halo 3 released in 2007. Halo 2 released in 2004, right? So then you would think, okay, well, Halo 2, they didn't immediately start getting to work on Halo 3 after the fact. No, they were trying to still clean up some messes left behind from Halo 2's very, very legendary development. The fact that they had to scrap the game and basically remake it from the ground up after they showcased Halo 2 at E3. To do that much work in the span of a year, incredible. Came out with one of the best games for that console generation. And then we're getting the Halo 3 from 2004. We're starting at 2005. Xbox 360 is on the horizon. Xbox 360 kind of needs their baby on this game or on this console. That did not take too long to develop. And they were going to compete with some pretty heavy hitters during that era. Modded Warfare, just literally shaked up like what Call of Duty was going to be for like the next 80-some years. But the whole point is just, it's crazy that Concord in what it is just took that long to like kind of get out. And just, I'm sure for the development team at Firewalk, they're just like, dude, what else did we have to do? So like, because like the game is competent. Like that's all I can really say. Like it's competent in what it's trying to display. It's just that it really don't work. It didn't. Their marketing practices weren't going to work for the game. And I'm seeing a lot of sentiments that even if this game were to go free to play, which I had mentioned, it's like I think it should just go free to play. But from what I'm seeing from people like Paul Tassi on Forbes, general content creators on the platform are saying even if this game goes free to play tomorrow, it's a done deal.
Yeah, like I don't think that'll help too much. Honestly,
so, you might get a couple of months of longevity out of it, but that's basically it. Some people are saying if this game is still around next year, that's going to be nuts. Because I mean that's how fast games can kind of plummet these days. I mean we've seen it time and time again post COVID. People are.
Here's one of the funniest things though about the whole situation is that, during Gamescom, they had also revealed that there was going to be like this series called Secret Level, I think it was called.
Yeah,
and it's like crossovers, like singular hour long episodes of like CG animated like video game episodes that like go beyond what the game has. As I said, I swear I saw Kratos standing in New York or something. I have no idea. I did not look back at the footage, but I swear I I feel like I saw what I saw. But they also listed that Concord was going to have its own separate episode. Like,
so it tells me that
Concord's going to be dead by time that comes out.
Something tells me that Sony just had like that kind of like pull with them to like go, yeah, here's a game you know nothing about. Can we have an episode on this program?
Yeah. Going up against fucking God of War. Okay.
It's kind of, I mean, Sony has really dug themselves into a hole with what they're planning on doing. I mean, here's the thing. If you would have told me anything of the sort pre-COVID, I'd have said like, that will never happen. Them going for the strategic play of like, hey, let's just release hopefully 8, 9 something live service games. Like I wouldn't believe you. And then they hire Bungie to basically go like, yeah, no, we're definitely going to need them to do that because so far they've been the people that have like been around the longest. Little did they know.
Yeah, hearing that Bungie helped like figure that out. It's like they can't even manage themselves.
No.
How did Sony expect them to fucking do anything?
I feel like next year Bungie's going to have some serious problems. Just from like literally the leadership side of things when Sony like takes control of their company, because that's at this point, that's what's going to happen.
That's a shoo-in.
Sony gave them a year, like, hey, we'll try you out. Next year, that is going to be a company devoted to working on a Sony branded Call of Duty video game, mark my words. That's not even going to be Bungie anymore. That's just going to be, we're going to work on Sony's vision of Call of Duty. Xbox can have Call of Duty for all we care. Hey, Bungie, you guys are going to do Call of Duty and you will continue to do our Call of Duty and don't work on anything else. Thank you.
Here's the thing too, with Concord failing so miserably and like most of their live service games just not quite hitting it except for Helldivers, but they are killing it themselves basically with all the account stuff. But with Concord failing so bad and taking 8 years somehow, I think they're really going to rethink how they do live service, if at all, moving forward.
They shouldn't have done
Which
it.
in a way might be a positive. We don't need every game to be fucking live service.
They shouldn't have moved operations to America. As soon as they did that, it's just been downhill. Cancel The Last of Us. Fucking cancel.
It all started with Studio Japan dying. Mark my words. They ruined it. They killed them.
I mean, they did. They literally shot him in the back of the head. Old Yeller.
Literally did. It's over. They killed him. Somebody fucking help them. They're dying.
No, they're dead.
They're dead. They're dead. No, they're dead.
That's honestly my like guttural feeling is that them moving operations so far, they have not made good on this console generation. I don't believe so anyway.
No. Xbox, Microsoft said directly that no, they failed. They did not live up to the hype this console generation. Sony isn't doing that much better. And I think most people at this point are just sick of console exclusives, especially like when they eventually come to PC later down the line. Like it took Ghost of Tsushima like 4 some years to finally come to PC.
I wonder what metrics they have, you know, like these big corporations to where they're sitting internally and going, it is a better strategy for us to keep this in-house on this platform. Nobody else can have this. Like that's like a good financial strategy compared to like the huge open market everywhere else. It's like, no, I want to keep this game on our platform and to hell with everybody else.
I mean, Spider-Man's one of them.
Yeah, I could play.
To be fair.
Yeah, I could play Spider-Man though.
Eventually.
Yeah, I can just play that. I can play Halo.
But can you play Halo on your PlayStation?
Soon, actually. Internally.
Oh, God.
Internally, Xbox is now attempting. I don't know if you know this, but they don't really get along with Sony. But internally, they do want,
no way.
They do want the next Halo to be on PlayStation. It's about that time. That's how. That's what we're working with.
I mean, if they're failing so miserably, like up to that point, then holy shit.
Well, I think
they must be not doing good.
Well, it's
they're like, yeah, you can also have our like number one-ish brand, one of our most recognizable brands.
It's more to do with they've been playing nice with Nintendo to the point where like the Xbox app is on the Switch and you can do what you want on that. But it's just kind of neat that, you know, they were able to get along and there's so much like cross compatibility between Nintendo systems and then Xbox Studios systems. And then they're like, oh, well, if we can do that, then let's get on Sony's good side. Hey, Sony, I know we just bought Blizzard. You really didn't like that. And I know, you know, out of that whole debacle, but hey, about Halo franchise that hasn't been selling well for a whole decade, but hey, come on. That's what we're dealing with.
You know, they could do so many things with Halo and just have like different genres. Like imagine a Halo game, but it's just like a flood infection and it's a horror game. Or imagine another genre in the Halo universe besides Halo Wars.
I feel like
but just keep following the Master Chef forever. Like they're sleeping on good ideas in a whole universe of shit to do, and they're choosing not to do anything with it because it's just always going to be about the Master Chef.
I feel like we have this conversation, not you and me, but I feel like just in general, we have this conversation like every fucking week where it's like, this franchise could be a lot more if we just started doing like other things, literally. And the same sentiments were shared with Splinter Cell. The fact that like we don't need Sam Fisher. If in the chronology he is currently like 60 years of age, why is he popping around rooftops like he's fucking Christian Bale?
Because he stays fit.
He did say that. Guys my age, they don't really exercise much, so I got to do what I can to stay in shape, which is what he said during the tutorial sequence of Chaos Theory.
And then he fell over.
No, he climbed the bar. That's what happened.
Whoa. Dang.
And with that out of the way,
John Fish.
Yeah, I would like to see them kind of experiment more. Warhammer does a lot of stuff, and say what you will about Games Workshop. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care. But what they do know is that you can get people routed in pretty well if you just appeal to different demographics of people, like people that love the tabletop.
Visual novels.
Yes. Literally, yes.
Here's my Halo visual novel. I mean, look at the one Sonic game that was like a part of an anniversary or something, and it was who killed Sonic the Hedgehog, and then it turns out nobody actually did because it was just a little train birthday like scenario. He didn't actually die. It was a little game, and then everybody said, "You mean he's not actually dead?"
The fandom for that was like really weird. That little because that like brought out like the giga like Sonic fans, and they were really jealous.
Everybody was excited. Everybody was excited because they thought Sonic was dead.
Oh, is that really?
That's why.
That was it.
Yes,
really.
But he wasn't actually, because it was just a little birthday train like scenario.
Why did they think he died?
Because it's the game's title was "Who Murdered Sonic the Hedgehog?"
Sega allowed that?
Yes. They're very, very, very good about fan games. They will not take those down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, through like Sega's Clubhouse or something.
Anyway, just to bring this up, Warhammer, you got Space Marine 2, third person shooter. You got Speed Freaks. racing game released at the start of August. You got Bolt Gun, Boomer Shooter.
The Squeakquel.
You got Rogue Trader, which was a very lauded and respectable RPG, isometric. That I think that did well just because
there's nothing good to say about it.
Well, I didn't play it, but I think it did well from what I saw of the gameplay, just because Baldur's Gate released the same year, and people were like, "Oh, I want another experience like that." Oh, what's Rogue Trader?
I heard people were excited, and then I heard nothing else about it when it released.
It did very well. It's just Baldur's Gate was good enough for me. I don't know enough about 40K to. I don't care. I don't care.
I'm not in there at all. I don't know.
Total War brand strategy that sells like hotcakes every time it's released, and they get the same game. You'd almost think it was Call of Duty. They get the same thing every other game. They're up to Total War 3.
Oh, hell yeah.
Brand strategy that did well. You got Warhammer Battle Sector, turn-based RPG. Did very well. Got Darkside. Wait, we don't talk about Darkside.
I thought we were coming back.
We're coming back, but not right now.
We don't talk about
You got Inquisitor. I actually picked that up. Inquisitor is okay. That's all right. You got Warhammer Chaos Bane, ARPG in the style of Diablo and Path of Exile. That we don't talk about that one. But if you enjoy those, there's a game for you. It's basically the tagline. Like if you game and you like a certain genre of game, I assure you there will be that game in Warhammer. And I feel like we could do this in Halo. I have always wanted to see a horror Halo style game, because it would just be fun to like be a Marine or be somebody that's not a walking fucking tank. Take on like the Flood, especially since they came to Earth. I would want to see that, like people trying to get out of the city while it's infested with space zombies.
I think we'll only see that once Microsoft fully sells out in like within the decade, if not farther. I don't see that happening like in the next 2 years or even 3 years.
Can I level with you?
That we'll start getting like, no, you can't.
Can I please?
All right, if you want.
Thank you. Blood Bowl, by the way. Sports.
I forget all the time that Blood Bowl is a part of 40K.
Sports. Turn-based strategy. That's also on tabletop. They got it all. Anyway, I'm going to level with you. All right. The internals at 343 are so bad that when it came out, that 343 is not actually going to work on the next game. People were like, oh, we won.
Thank goodness.
And then it came out. No, we're still here. We're doing the cutscenes and stuff. We're still.
God damn it.
Everybody was like, oh, not again. The community sentiment right now, which everybody thinks this is like a good idea. If you would have told me this a decade ago, I would have been like, dude, what? But
consider the following.
Literally.
Close your studio.
Literally. What if
we closed the studio?
We just let other studios do Halo.
No.
Like,
no. Bungie gave Halo to us 343. We can't do anything else. If we do, it's ours. It's ours. Okay. We can't do anything else. We need this. This is ours. It's ours now. Doesn't matter if we've basically, quote unquote, ruined everything and nobody wants us to make another one. Just keep going. It's ours.
I think you could.
No, we're going to make another game and Master Chef is going to have big space sex with his new not Cortana waifu, Cortana 2.
It made everybody really mad.
Stupid.
It made people so mad. The fact that your community is glad that, like, oh, I'm so glad this failed. I'm so glad this failed. We've been asking you to stop and you wouldn't stop. So I'm glad that it got canceled.
It's all we have. We can't clear out any of the cabinets. They're all just filled with Cortana porn.
The the optics are so out of tune. There was a comment that I saw the other night, and I sat there, I read it over a few times, that basically said, the community is so apathetic to 343 that when they just fuck up, no one cares. No one really cares at this point. Like, because if you say anything, it's like, oh, well, what did you expect? You're the one that bought the ticket. And that was like, because right now there's something internally going on with Halo Infinite. I maintain that when I come back to a game, I'm having a good time at least. Like when I come back to GTFO, I don't know, like, oh, apparently the community's in utter turmoil, but I don't deal with that at all.
It's because of the furry. The furry did it.
I would hope not. Things like Phasmophobia, once again, like, it gets stale. But there are people that like play that game to death. I could never do that. I would probably quit gaming. I've been gaming forever.
You know what? You mentioned at least people still dedicated to something, and completely off topic, but I looked at a developer post for, you remember Unturned?
Oh, yeah.
The Unturned, for those unfamiliar, is like Minecraft, but zombies, but not like geography building crafting, but it's just like, it's mainly just a good zombie game.
It's like Daisy. Just blocking.
Yeah, I'd even say that. Yeah. How many people do you think are, at least as of 12 hours ago, how many people do you think are playing that game?
It's been, some bad climate.
Because it's been like years since we played.
I'm going to go with a reasonable 1K.
You're going to go with 1K?
I'm going to go with 1K.
Okay, I was thinking maybe like 300, 400, maybe like, 1K. Like the game is still being actively developed by the one developer, as far as I know. I know there's one developer. I just don't know if there's anybody else. 20,000.
Oh.
20,000 people playing Unturned.
Yeah, it's close.
it really surprised. Yeah, you're just 19K off. Only 19,000 people off. No, but it really surprised me. It's like, wow, I'm glad that it's still doing really well.
He used to do some really cringy videos with Steven, like way back in the day. Unturned.
Man, it was all about the gold katana and the fire truck, my fire truck, with all of the storage on it, with the crates on it. Those are good times. Anyway, Halo sucks. 343 sucks. Bungie sucks.
We now bring you
it's all over
to the cutaway. Take it away.
Drop pod.
You did that one already last week, or the week you were on. Sorry.
Well, what else am I supposed to say?
You are now listening to...
You did that one last week.
And
welcome back to another Drop Pod, baby. Let's go.
I will actually use that one. That one's good. All right. So now that we got the Halo Bungie stuff out of the way this week, 40 minutes in. All right, let's start the show. Okay, so.
Just a little side note. You sure you didn't want to talk about Destiny 2?
No, I'm good. There will be a video on my thoughts on the expansion that I've actually sat down with it. I did promise the Discord that yes, I would in fact get it this week when this episode is released.
I was asleep the day prior, and then I saw on my phone, oh, Armand is streaming the game. A game. But what is he streaming? And then I said, oh no, oh God. And then I swiped it away because the stream was already over.
Yeah. An event. I'm not going to talk about Destiny, but I'm an event.
I'm going to get out of you.
I have never had so much trouble streaming a game this year than when I did Destiny 2. It's to the I will not stream this game unless there is a absolute good enough reason for me to do that. And I'm not even like around for the long haul. I finished the campaign today. That's it. I'm gonna do the raid because that's like the last. That's it. Once you do the raid, like that is credits roll. I have never had so much trouble streaming a game in all my time, in all my years. And I come back to Destiny 2 thinking, okay, well, this is going to be a good surprise for everybody. That stream did pretty well that night, but the stream was very choppy to the point where it's going to be in the video. But it was to the point where I just said, yeah, I'm not going to have you guys sit through that. I'm going to figure something out. And then I was watching the VOD of it, and I was like, what could be causing this? It is literally my camera. For some reason, Destiny 2 doesn't like that. So then the stream is choppy, but you notice my camera, like I'm completely fine, crystal clear. I went through so many hoops to get this game going. I lowered the resolution, the output resolution, and then I lowered the frames per second on OBS. I have not had to do that for any game this year that I've streamed. Elden Ring, max settings. Completely fine. Dark Side, max settings. Completely fine. The DLC to Ready or Not on epic settings. That's max. Completely fine. Destiny 2. Lowest settings I can possibly get and not stream this game. So, yeah, unless there is a absolutely good reason, like, oh, for some reason there is like this new secret, something or other, people are talking about it, we're back on it, or I'm doing the raid for the first time ever, which is probably not going to be this week. I am not streaming this game anymore. Like that is it. That is my.
Thank goodness. Clap, clap, clap.
Like I said, the moment that the credits roll, that's it. That was it. I came back for the campaign like I said I was going to. I'm chilling after that. Anyway.
It's to go play other good games like Halo Infinite multiplayer.
I mean, that's kind of it though. Like I wanted a game that was like semi-social at least. And like Halo's always been like a social game, but with the way that things are, at least in Infinite, it's not really like a good place for that anymore. It's like people are, you're either doing comp, and my elo is so high that it takes me 8 minutes to queue a match. So no, I'm not doing ranked. Or you get into like a big team battle game. That's like the mode that everybody plays, but you're either on Xbox, because I mean, yeah. And if you're not, then you're on Discord, 100%. So people don't really use like the in-game comms anymore, which is kind of sad. Black Ops 6 is going to have this feature that opens your mic in-game when you take somebody hostage in a multiplayer game.
Oh yeah, I saw that in an article being like, now people can shout racial slurs in your ear as they chokehold you from behind.
Like, Ariel, that's a. I think it's neat that it gets people like talking, at least, unless you have your mic muted. That's like the caveat. It's like
it gets people talking about racial slurs.
If you know that, well, people, there are definitely going to be bad apples. That's for sure. And people are assuming that Treyarch is going to shut this down for sure at some point. But for right now,
oh man,
yeah, it's cool. Like,
I look forward to whatever comes out of that. Just people with dogs in the background and children just crying.
Oh yeah,
right up in your ear.
Yeah, the compilations are going to be great of that. So what I actually wanted to bring up, we have been discussing early access play for a couple of months, and everybody thinks this is stupid. I caved and got Space Marine 2. For some reason, people are turning on this game. They're like deep-rooted Warhammer 40K fans are like not too pleased with this game. I'm not too sure why that is. I'm not going to get there because I've been interested in this game. So I'm not going to subject myself to like, oh, well, let me be mad with you guys. Boy, I don't care enough.
Boy, have you. Don't anybody say anything bad about this game because I ain't having it.
There's a reason for, you want me to get into that before this?
Do your thing.
So I was streaming Destiny the previous night. That was the game that this was related to. The everything was chill in the chat, but there was one person. I'm not going to divulge you. You might already know who.
It was me. It was me, Austin. It was me.
Dear listeners that had viewed part of that stream, you might know who it is. There was one individual that at every actionable opportunity that presented, he had typed in chat something that was always negative towards the game. And I think they were trying to goad me into saying something negative about the game, even though I was only in there for maybe an hour at that point in stream. I was still getting going, and generally I was having a good time. But I'm not going to say something above board. When I just got into it, I was generally having a nice time. The people that were watching the stream and having a good time generally were being positive towards the things happening in game. But it was this one person that was just negative everything. And I'm like, do you enjoy anything in your life ever?
Those are my favorite kind of streams when you're having fun and then just someone is just upset that you're having fun.
So I and here's the thing. I said this during 17B. I don't respond, or I don't care enough rather about certain issues. Like I don't like talking about people. I don't like talking about things. I don't care strongly enough about anything like that. But
he has no strong opinions on anything ever,
unless it's gaming related. Yeah. But the thing is everybody else was having a good time. It was just this one person that was kind of like bringing down the vibe of what was generally a positive stream. And people were like asking me to play this expansion already. And I finally do it. And then here's this one person. And it's like, you made the actionable decision to click on the link or click on your notification to watch me stream this game. And all you had to say, like, I'm not streaming this because somebody has a gun to my head telling me to play it. Like, no, I got it. I'm playing this because generally the server wanted me to play this expansion already. I don't get that. So
it's easy to just not watch something. Yeah. Just don't click on the thing if you don't like it.
I had put in the Discord that night because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this the next day for something that I was generally having fun with. Like, I'm not going to respond to anything that's negative towards this game. I'm just not going to, because I didn't do it during the stream either. Like whatever negative was coming up, I just didn't give it any mind. I didn't say anything. I didn't scold. Generally, I was vibing. I was having a nice time. I wanted to make sure, like, okay, I know for a fact you saw it. If you jump on stream today, don't do it.
This is the biggest call out post of all time.
So there I was. I feel like I have to do a cutaway for this topic again. I'm not going to, but I feel like I should. Snap back to reality. Oh,
well, there goes gravity.
Thank you. We've been talking about early access play for a couple of months, and I caved and I got Space Marine 2. So I like Space Marine 1, and this is made by an entirely different outfit. And this looked interesting. This was one of the first games going over into this year, 2024, that I was actually excited for, aside from Elden Ring. So I don't find myself getting like overly excited for games anymore post-COVID.
Feel that.
So that once in a blue moon, like, oh, that game was so sick. Oh my God, look at that. Oh, this is what Dark Tide should have been. Oh my God. Like, that gets me going. So I got it.
It looks fun.
There was another game that's going to release under such conditions. Or sorry, that did release under such conditions, and that was Star Wars Outlaws. And
AAA game.
It did not sell well under those parameters, which is good. No, I'm not saying it's good that the game is failing. No. I'm saying it's good that business model is failing, at least. especially for
AAA,
for AAA even.
Early access.
That should not even be a sentence.
Full price game.
That should not be a sentence. It should not be a...
Like, is the game done? It's a single player game. Is the game fucking done or not?
I don't even think it's from an area of that. It's just, here is your early access key to play the game. The game is, in our collective AAA minds, it is in fact done. I think it's just more to do with, if you want to play it early before everybody else, it's exclusive.
Well, there's two ways you can look at it. One, the way that, you just said, everybody that really wants to play it, and like any reviewers or what have you, yeah, they're going to buy it early and they're going to spend the additional dosh, buy it early. The other one is, well, if we say it's early access and not just like, this is just like quote unquote early access, you get to play it early. If it's literally early access, then we get to say, well, it's in early access. So, the game's not done. So if there's issues, then you can't blame it on us because, you bought it early access.
If Ubisoft, everything they fucking do is early access.
Chuck Ubisoft into the fire.
Honest to God. The fact that they're still around is insane. Like,
honestly, I feel like they have infinite money. So I will be shocked the day that Ubisoft dies. I am not surprised that they're still around.
Like,
because they're just able to squeeze every little bit out of people, and that just keeps them going.
Like, how well is every live service that they have going on right now? They have that new free-to-play shooter, X-Defiant. I think it is a competent free-to-play shooter by a AAA developer. But how well is that doing in the grand scheme of things compared to everything else? Valorant, CSGO, League, Dota 2, Overwatch, this new Marvel Rivals game that's not even out yet. How well is X-Defiant doing in all of that? How well is Ghost Recon fucking Breakpoint doing in all of that? How well is Rainbow Six Siege doing in the grand scheme of things compared to all of that? The fact that they're still able to like keep going, even though they had a massive quadruple A flop, Skull and Bones.
No, it's still going. It's still in early access.
Somehow they're sending me...
sold less than 1 million copies.
They're sending me emails like, oh, now's a great time to jump in. Like, what?
Now's a great time to suck my dick. You're still not doing it. Where are we at?
Like, honest to God, you put Lethal Company in front of me and Skull and Bones, I'm going to choose Lethal Company. Like, I will gladly play that. Visually,
I forget if I mentioned it last time, but we're in like such a state of development with the games industry that like, no, you don't want to be part of a big company in AAA, game development. You want to make your own game and be an indie game and get published by like a smaller studio or self-publish if you're able to. It's like this state of where we're at. Good games are indie games at this point. AAA games have all this bullshit around them, and they're few and far between good.
So, for those keeping score at home,
I have 1 point. Ormond has 0. That's the score.
We're hoping that in the grand scheme of things, early access just doesn't have a place, especially not in AAA. There is so many awkward things that developers do to like kind of monetize their products and try to squeeze every little penny that they can. We let Bungie do this to us for years with their microtrans. I already talked about this with you, in the last episode you were on. You got the season key to access the season, but you also need to pay for the expansion. But if you want to participate in the holiday activity, extra $10 for that. So you have a key. Oh, but you also want to play the dungeon. Oh, well, you'll need the dungeon key. Oh, but you also want to have your character look good. So here's the microtransaction store. Oh, but you also want to make sure that your gun looks cool. So all of these systems, and we just give them a pass for some reason because they went under the guise that, oh, well, we're all self-funded and everything that we do here is to help the game. Meanwhile, Warframe, arguably one of the best free-to-play business models in existence, that is literally player-governed. So what you get is what you get back out. So if you want real currency, you can actually earn that from your time in-game. You can literally be a free player and not spend a dime at all and still look like you've paid a lot of money. Meanwhile, you have Call of Duty giving you the option of early access. You have the Star Wars Outlaws game, which I have not heard too many pleasant things about. I like that you can play with the pet at least. That looked kind of neat.
I haven't really heard much about it, to be honest. Like good or bad.
It's not talked about much compared to the other really big release in Wukong. Because now we're starting to get feedback like, oh no, this game is actually kind of legit. Oh, this game is going to be a problem for the games industry. Here's why. Oh, here's why Black Myth Wukong is a horror game. The grand scheme of it is really shady. You got to stop doing it. It's good that I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden people are like, yeah, maybe I guess I don't like being screwed over. $70 for USD for a game that to be honest isn't worth $70. Just stop. And if Ubisoft,
what is Space Marine 2? What is that? What is the price for the early access? Because we were talking about this the other day when we were playing Lethal Company, and you're like, "Oh, look at you, a paragon of morality or whatever." Like, ooh, you're not going to buy the game early access.
Pre-order now. Get 4 days early unlock.
Yeah, if you can go fuck yourself, I'll get it at launch.
Gold edition or
if
the
I'm
Ultra edition. Geez, fucking paragon of humanity, you absolute legend of yore.
Yeah, that's right. I don't buy games in early access. Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
You kind of championed yourself into it because I was just telling Michael, like, oh no, I got it.
I wasn't championing it. I just was saying that. No. I just said no, I'm not going to. Because I'm fucking sick of that. I'm sick of early access. Ooh, I get it 4 days early. Ooh, how about you just release it when it's released on the same day?
How about you Sugma and Ligma?
How about you Ligma? What's the price?
Not enough cash.
Stranger.
Yeah. But you didn't force me to talk before yet. I didn't finish it.
Oh, do you want me to?
No, I felt like it was coming. I did the Destiny shtick.
Boy, let's talk about it. Resident Evil 4, the OG, my favorite game of all time. Resident Evil 4 remake.
What if it comes out that that's not actually your favorite game?
No, it has been my favorite game, I think, for like the past decade.
They keep up appearances, but like low key, like.
I'm actually a big fan of Necopara. Volume 3. I feel Volume 3 really is where things took a great turn. I didn't finish that one stream yet. For the record, I'm not playing these of my own volition.
I don't know enough about it. I've skills.
There are cat girls, and there are
they cute?
Dog boy. See, there's an issue. See, they're cat girls, but they have the age of a literal cat. So, like, the two main cats, Chocola and Vanilla, at the first game, they're like less than 2 years old, if less than a year old in cat years. Well, actually, in human years. In cat years, they're like 14. So it's not any better.
It sure isn't.
And then you have like the society as a whole where it's like, oh, cats can have jobs, but they need to pass their cat license registration so that they can have a job. And also, like, there's like a whole civil rights movement that could happen in that game series that will not happen because, ooh, sexy cat. And the main character, Casho, I call him Nut because his name looks like cashew. Just roll with it. He is just, he's fucking every cat girl in his family. And like, they're like his sisters, but also they're the cat pets. And his actual human sister is really into that. She's like, yeah, have all your cats in our family become your cat panions. The series is fucked. I'm not playing this on my own volition. Anyway, Resident Evil 4 doesn't have cat girls, nor does the remake, which is my, as of this moment, top 5th game of my top 15 games.
It's cheating. It isn't.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. I made a list.
It's not. But man, I feel like it's all Resident Evil, like 1 to 5. Sorry, it's all Resident Evil 4, 1 to 5.
Oh, do you want me to go through my top 15 games?
No, you sent me it. This was a joke. This was a bit. Unless you updated it recently.
No, last updated 13, 2023.
All of a sudden, the list had changed dramatically.
Number 1, Resident Evil 4. Number 2, Resident Evil 4 for the VR Meta Quest. Wow. Quest 2. Number 3, Resident Evil Remake for the PSVR 2 or 3. I forget which one we're on. Number 4, Resident Evil 4 for the mobile phone. The one where the guys are blue for some reason. In number 5, Resident Evil 4 2023 Remake. That's right. The Smurf Resident Evil beat out the remake.
Resident Evil 0 was pretty cool.
I didn't finish that one.
I wish you did. Oh my God, I wish you did. Dude, what is going on?
We've been over this. I didn't finish that one. I didn't finish the original Resident Evil 1 remake.
No.
I beat Resident Evil 1 for the PS1.
Okay.
But I did not beat the original Resident Evil 2.
No.
And I got maybe like 20% of the way, maybe 15% of the way through the original Resident Evil 3.
Oh.
But I beat the remake on stream in one sitting because that was a short ass game.
Yeah. But that means you never got to see like the OG like mercenaries. That was really fun.
I mean, I've seen it, but no.
That was really fun.
I like killing all the people in the new one.
I'll lay it down for you. I never finished Outbreak because that game was way too hard for me as a child.
No, yeah, nobody's ever finished Outbreak.
Doubt it.
It's an unbeatable game.
Doubt it.
It's like I want to be the bossy. You just can't. And if you did, then you have to prove it. Show me your arthritis.
There's another game like that. Man, it was
for the record, I Want to Be the Boss is the harder version of I Want to Be the Guy. Yeah. So if you haven't heard of I Want to Be the Bossy, folks, you've heard of I Want to Be the Guy. For clarification.
You couldn't catch me trying to play one of those games. I'm sorry.
No, I enjoy the difficulty of being able to, beat something. Like, I don't want to have something come so easy. I want the strife. I want the struggle. But if I have to repeat something for long enough that it's just annoying, then I don't want to. Like, if the difficulty is annoying, then count me out.
Like, remember Geometry Dash? Like that had like a lot of hype.
Oh Lord, that game sucked.
It really sucked. Like I look at that, like I'll see like sometimes on my feed that will come up. Dude, Geometry Dash. Like that game was hard for the sake of it being hard after a point.
Yeah, because it's just a memory game. Is literally what it is. Like there's no difficulty in that. It's just memorize the stuff. At least I felt.
Oh, I believe you. I don't like games that are hard just for the sake of it being hard.
Yeah.
I don't even think Dark Souls tried to like bend you over that hard. Is that like it's you might fail for like a couple of hours, but then all of a sudden, like, oh, it clicks. Or
yeah, it's just the sake of learning the mechanics. Although that argument is only slightly thrown out the window when you hear Miyazaki talk about no, about how, oh no, I'm a masochist, and like, oh, that's what I like about them.
Yeah. Anyway, I think when you fail a couple of hours and then you come back and then it's like, oh, okay, I finally know how to do. I remember when I initially got into Dark Souls 1, like Ornstein and Smo, that took me like a good half of my school day. It's like I got home from school, got on, and I was like, I'm gonna beat these guys today. And then
see, that was back when before the remaster. That was back when Solaire, you could summon into that fight.
Yeah.
Was like really bad, and he could not survive. In the remaster, though, all the Phantoms were buffed up. I found out because I was like, oh, he is not usually supposed to survive this long with that much health.
There's so much knowledge.
When I first played Dark Souls 1, and this was before Dark Souls 2 was even announced, so I was in there. Wasn't Demon Souls in there, but I was in there with Dark Souls OG #1. I started playing it on YouTube. Those uploads are still there.
Same.
And I fell off of it. I stopped playing it on YouTube and I continued on myself. And of course, this was back with DS Fix, which was to keep the frame rate consistent because From Software didn't know what they were doing with PC ports. It was just everybody wanted one. So they did one and it was really bad. And it's like, but you guys asked us for it. And it's like, yeah, but we asked you to make a competent port.
Those videos are still up there. I was still to this day, nobody believes me when I say that. Like I was still playing on a trackpad on my laptop. And
oh God.
I didn't remember, or at the time I didn't know about DS Fix. I'm just going through it. You get to Blighttown, the game's kicking you back. I'm on a laptop, so now it can't run. I'm on a trackpad to boot. It was so good.
It was great with early DS Fix as well. There were a couple of ladders in the game that if you slide down them, that you're just going to clip through the world because the game is running at 60 FPS, or at least it's trying to. The one I know for a fact that happened every time with is the one in Undead Burg, right under the bridge with the Hellkite Drake. And it's where the rats are, and you climb up, and then like right above you is the tower with the Black Knight. Yeah. If you slide down that ladder, you are clipping through and you are dead. You're falling through the world. But anyway, I got to Blighttown and I felt like I was stuck. So I ended up restarting. And then that's when it finally clicked. Like, I think most people who play Dark Souls for the first time, they hit a wall and then they just don't play it for months. And then they come back to it and then they love it. Like me, my cousin had that same thing. She struggled with the Taurus demon at the beginning of the game so much, like, and she got so close the one time to killing him, and she died that like the game brought her to tears. She struggled so much, but then we played it together, and I helped guide her through. And you want to know what one of the most impressive things she's done in her gaming career, quote unquote, is she killed Gwyn first try, no parries.
No parries.
No parries. First try.
That's the way. That's the way of the fist.
It was her first Souls game, and I mean, like, she still doesn't, parry, but like at this point, she beat Dark Souls 2 on stream. All those VODs are archived over on my channel. She wanted to do a release order, so we were doing Bloodborne, but then she got super busy, so that's currently unfinished. And then she played Elden Ring herself off stream, and she'd bring over her PS4 over to my house when we'd hang out. Because like she didn't like want my exact guidance, like she appreciated it, but it was more so that just I was there for moral support. But she ended up beating the whole game. And then now she's working on the DLC very slowly. So it's just a cycle of you struggle with it, and then you come back to it, and then you love it.
I was too hard-headed when Dark Souls came out, because that was my game when I was in school. And back then, I didn't really get that many games because I was in school.
Fucking poor idiot. No job.
Legit.
Dumbass.
I had played every day religiously, like coming home from school on the weekends, and that kept me busy for like a whole month. I really love that game. Like Dark Souls 1 will always have like a soft spot in my heart just because of what it is. But I'd fail or I'd try a new character. I didn't like that character. All right, we're going to try this character that's also a glass cannon, because I didn't know anything about like stat distribution for games like that at that point.
What was your end game weapon?
I stuck with the scimitar.
Oh, that's based.
Yeah.
I used the Zweihander for and the Drake sword, of course, for most of my first playthrough. And then eventually I settled on the Black Knight or the Ultra Black Knight Greatsword, and the Drake sword, and my stats were all over the fucking place.
Remember when I did like the backstep, R1 that you can do with the scimitar, and where you like flip around. I remember I did that by accident, and then that just like was glued to me for like the rest of the game. I was like, oh my God, you can do that. I didn't even know that other weapons could do that. I just knew that, well, the scimitar can do it. That's all I need.
What's cool though is they added more of those. I know but they added more to those, quote unquote secret moves in Elden Ring's DLC with like what is it? The like the backhand blades and the perfumer bottles, where it's
perfumer bottles so much.
Where you like, you hold a right trigger and then you hit like your dodge button.
Yeah.
And then it like gives you another attack that you backstep. Yeah. That's neat.
That's what I've been doing in PvP a lot. When somebody would like invade, because that backstep for some reason really catches people out on the perfumer bottles.
I didn't even know about it actually until I saw you on stream do it. I was like, oh shit, wait, what is that move? I was like, oh, did they add one to that as well? I didn't know that.
Should probably finish that playthrough. Got through the DLC. Oh, I was going to bring this up. Do you think it's cheap? The way I like beat the bosses in every single one of these games is like, I will parry the boss. So after a certain point, I think like parrying is kind of just like, it's kind of cheesy.
Well,
unless it's Sekiro, where you're supposed to do it.
No, not really, because with the final boss for the DLC of Elden Ring, like you had to learn, which moves you could parry and when you could parry.
Yeah.
And like, you have to be consistent with the parries. Otherwise, you're going to die. You have to learn to fight. So no, not really.
There's one person that brought that up.
Even with like Dark Souls 1, like I'd say it's a little cheesy there just because you have more iframes to work with and the attacks are slower. It's a slower paced game. So like, talking about like wind or whatever. And then in Dark Souls 2, you can parry everybody. Everybody and everything.
Dark Souls 1.
You can parry, Dark Souls 2, you can parry, the little dog rat things, and things betwixt. You can parry those. You can't riposte them, but you just parry them.
I'm glad that you can
Makes
parry
no sense.
so many things. I love the parry noise in Dark Souls 2. That is like iconic. Yeah.
And they fall on their ass.
And you hear that from somebody else's game.
That's a weird thing for the dogs, but like they fall on their back. They fall on their butt. Yeah. Like that's not intentional. I don't know why they do that. And that's why Dark Souls 2 is my second favorite game on top 15 Maelstrom Gaming games list. Also because it's Dark Souls 2, number 2. That's funny. You know what is number 4? It's not Dark Souls 4. It's Kingsfield 4. It just worked out that way, but also it's true.
RE4 remake.
RE4 remake.
One after that.
RE4 and RE4.
No.
And yeah, do we count the movies in there?
Oh, hell no. On your favorite games list?
Yeah, I put them in there. So at this point, how far are you into the main story?
I reunited with Ashley in the castle.
Wow.
I am a legend god sniper in this game for some reason.
It's because we were playing RE5 recently, and you're like, I'm using the pistols and the sniper rifles.
Like, I cannot... You were saying you were doing like a pistol only run? Like, to be fair, I mean, it's the Punisher.
Yeah.
It just goes through.
Yeah, there's an achievement for handguns and knives only. You can't use grenades. No other guns.
That's going to be a fun run.
You cannot, just for the record, handguns do not include revolvers, magnums.
Yeah. That's gonna...
Not that confused me, but I was wondering before I started it. And for my handgun and knives only run, I was like, I'm not going to do it like all the other people are doing it, where it's like, oh, I'm playing on amateur difficulty, the easiest difficulty. And that way I can't die. And then like I have like, I'm going to have infinite ammo too, and like endless ammo. No, I'm playing that shit on professional, new game plus. So at least, my Red 9 is already upgraded, and I have the infinite knife unlocked just so like, I can just just so, I can do parries.
Well, I mean, yeah, I like
I'm actually brave enough to parry on professional, where it's like a lot of people, whenever the game had first released, it's like, oh, you don't see that many people parrying on professional. That's because they're scared. It's like, just fucking learn the system. Come on.
It's just adding the knife mechanic. Like, I like the durability thing. I get it. I understand it. Otherwise, no, you're blocking everything. I
understand it both ways. Yeah, I understand it both ways. Like, I like the infinite durability knife, but also it makes sense for a balancing reason. Because when enemies on the ground when enemies are on the ground, you can just instantly kill them by stabbing them in the neck with a knife. If they're normal, like human enemies, that is.
Correct.
Yes.
What was number 6?
Are you actually asking me about my list?
You might as well finish. Fuck.
I thought you said I already sent it to you.
Yeah, but okay. To me, but the dear listeners might have been like, oh, I really wanted to hear.
Well, here, let me go through my whole list. Malastrome Gaming's top 15 games. As
15?
Of 12. Yeah,
well, 15. No, it's 10. You get 10. You can have
I did 10, and then I couldn't include everything that I wanted, so I decided on 15. Look, there's somebody out there who has like a top. There's somebody out there, one epic name bro, who has like a top 100 games. I have that. Top 70 games or something.
My honorable mentions are everything else that is not the top 10.
Well, honorably mention your mother. She's a wonderful lady.
Wishing she was.
Top 15 games. Number 1, Resident Evil 4, 2005. Number 2, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Number 3, Fallout, New Vegas. Number 4, Kingsfield 4, The Ancient City. Number 5, Resident Evil 4, 2023. Number 6, Disco Elysium, The Final Cut. Number 7, Monster Hunter, Generations Ultimate. Number 8, Neo 2. Number 9, Fear, the first one. Number 10, Elden Ring. Number 11, Thief 2/Thief Gold, because it's basically the same game.
It should be your honorable fucking mentions.
Your mother. Number 12, Dark Souls. Number 13, Monster Hunter World /Iceborne. Number 14, the entire Stalker series, because I had more fun with the mod Call of Chernobyl, which lets you play on all of the maps, and there's like a loose story to it, but the way I enjoyed playing it and streaming it is just doing the sandbox mode. So you just do whatever you want and go wherever you want. So that's why I have that as number 14, the Stalker series. And number 15, Beat Saber, because it's a good way to lose weight and exercise. This list needs updated, though. I would at least probably switch most of these around at this point, because I don't think Elden Ring.
Saber, no.
No, I don't think Elden Ring beats out Dark Souls.
Oh, okay. So you actually have those ordered. I have mine pseudo ordered. Because I think I'd be going through what you're going through.
Because when I first made this list, I think I spent like 6 hours on stream because I thought it would be fun to do that. And it was, and people enjoyed that. Just me going through my top 15, or at the time, top 10 games. So at some point I need to do like an additional stream or just recategorize them myself on what I want to flip around.
My rules were pretty simple. I only allowed for one game in the franchise. These are pseudo ordered. Okay, here it comes.
Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4.
Never. On your life, kid. What do you think my favorite Resident Evil is?
I know what it is. It's Code Veronica.
No.
Not Code Veronica?
No.
When was it not Code Veronica?
I love Code Veronica, but it's not my favorite.
That's not your favorite?
No.
It's one of the old ones then, but I don't know which one.
I guess.
Unless it's just, is it just remake?
No.
Well, which one is it?
Those.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which one?
The OG.
Okay. Yeah, the way you talk about Code Veronica
you
every
thought
time.
I was a super fan. No.
He hates it, actually. The biggest fucking grifter alive for Code Veronica.
I love Code Veronica. It's just that
I don't love it that much.
Like top 3. Like I
only talk about whenever I can.
I would only want. Here's the thing. Like Resident Evil 2, I got my remake. I'm chilling. If Outbreak ever comes out, that'd be fun. Because I love Outbreak before I love Code Veronica. I don't have much playtime with Outbreak compared to Code Veronica. God, you need to play Code Veronica.
I'll play it.
God. Fuck Gex. Play Code Veronica. Shut up. It's a pseudo-ordered list. I don't think I will change that. This was made on COVID. Okay, here it comes. Baldur's Gate, the 98 one. Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. Battlefield Bad Company 2. Warcraft 3. That was my first game that I was like, oh, you can actually mod it. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Doom 2. Silent Hill 3. Splinter. Can you believe I'm not a Silent Hill 2 stan? God. I think that's
I'm be streaming that soon.
Here's the thing. I think that's a much better game than Silent Hill 3 is. But don't tell them I said that. I love Silent Hill 3.
Silent Hill 3 has too many enemies. I told you, but I played that again recently with my cousin and our one friend, because our one friend had never seen Silent Hill 3 or 2. So we played both of those in order, 2 and 3. And I just forgot. I was like, Silent Hill 3 is great, but way too many enemies. Why did they put so many enemies in this fucking game?
Kill them.
You want me to say one thing that I don't like about Silent Hill 2 before you continue is that at times, like Silent Hill 2 is a great game, but like you just walk from place to place and the enemies don't really present much of anything. So it's like more like obviously it's more about the story than anything else. Like you're not playing Silent Hill 2 on hard mode. Hard mode Silent Hill 2 is fucking awful. It's terribly balanced.
And the ambience, it's like really good in that game. It's like the soundtrack, especially if you're paying attention to it and where the sound or the sound cues are coming from. Like those are,
Which is why I'm excited to be streaming Silent Hill 2 here in the next like week or so, because I've always played it with my cousin. I've never had the headphone experience. I want to hear all the little, things. I'm not even playing on a OG hardware on the PS2. But one thing I am interested for in the remake is if it will be like with them adding a dodge button and like seeming like it's more going to be doing things with the combat. I'm interested to see how that will go. And if it will be, a challenge. And then they're also going to be adding like they said the game's going to be bigger, which is a wonder if it's just going to bloat the entire experience or, not.
Bigger in the sense of Dead Space Remake bigger or?
Dead Space Remake was the exact game.
Yeah.
Though, and which people had a fault with like, oh, this is literally the same game, but with like, Isaac talks and there's like some secret things.
Everything's seamless.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like big in the sense of that. Or is it like, no, we're kind of doing our own thing with this one, right?
No, their own thing. Their own thing. Which, I mean, that's evident with like some of the acting.
Yeah, but
and how some of the scenes are like changed pretty heavily.
Let me just say this: 2023 Ada got me feeling a certain type of way. She was good.
The one with the voice cracks.
I liked her. If you catch my drift,
she was all right. Voice could have been a lot better.
It really could have.
In RE4,
yeah, it really could have.
They could have used the RE2 remake voice. That would have been fine. I don't know if you know, but there's a mod for RE4 remake that brings back the original RE4 and RE6 Ada actress as like AI. And like, I want to install that, but at the same time, I feel like it's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
To the actress that in RE4 remake. But I want to install it.
Pretty cute though. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, your list.
He's pretty cute. Please agree with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The list, sir.
Oh, so I was waiting for you. I thought you were still talking about...
You're reading off your list. No, I'm done with my list.
No, I thought you were still talking about Silent Hill 2. I had cut you off to talk about Ada.
No, that was really it.
All right. She got me feeling a certain type of way.
Allegedly bigger game. And I'll be curious about be curious about get your mind out of the gutter. Read the list reader.
Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Dungeon Keeper. So that was my first RTS experience, and I thought that, oh my god, this game.
I watched my cousin play the second one. Not the cousin I was talking about before, but a different cousin.
My dad didn't know what he bought
the second one
when he got that game. Somehow, looking at the cover, looking at the case of the devil on the he somehow didn't. Game was captured.
I like the second one.
Yes, I love the second one. The death.
Oh my god!
That ever gets like a
Debless
remakes something or other that is in Dungeons. So back.
Debless. Nove.
Halo 3 ODST. Yeah. Not just generally for ODST. I want to preface that because I feel like I have to do this every single time. Halo 3 ODST was a big deal when that had came out, not because of ODST, but the fact that it came with it came with a game, ODST, but it came with everything for Halo 3. Everything.
Oh yeah, you had the Forge stuff as well.
Yeah.
I remember making a lot of Forge parkour maps.
So
back in the day.
That was a big deal for me because I had not at that point played any of like the map pack stuff for Halo 3. But Halo 3 ODST came out, and that came out with a game. So if like you didn't want to play Halo 3 or Halo 3, all right, get on ODST and experience an entirely different story. But then if you want to play multiplayer, well, now you got this entire multiplayer collection disc. You can just go through that. Now that was fun.
I like it because it doesn't feature Master Chef, which is like one of 3 games that I can think of, the other 2 being Halo Wars 1 and 2, that Master Chef just wasn't featured, and that's good. Halo Reach features Spartans, so that doesn't count as one of them. It doesn't. And also Master Chef, if you turn the camera, when he's boarding the ship, you can see him. He's in his little pod. He's going to move the camera to the right. He's on the ship. You remember? He's in a little crowd pod in Halo Reach. Remember?
That's how 343 had to justify Reach being on the Master Chief Collection, by the
way. He's there. He's really there.
So much so that they added an extra achievement that never featured on Reach called, "You see, he was there," which is literally you viewing the Easter egg.
Actually, that's really funny. That's based. But yeah, ODST doesn't feature Master Chef. It features normal people, and the atmosphere is really good.
Had one of my
music, of course.
In fact, one of my favorite soundtracks to date, next to Silent Hill 2.
Really, I couldn't tell by the start of the podcast, and also the name.
It also features the cast of Firefly, which was one of my favorite shows growing up. I didn't
watch that one.
as the voices of the characters in-game. These characters would go on to do a lot of things for Halo. In fact, just like voicing the Marines, and they would also go to voice several characters inside of Destiny 2. Rapid fire honorable mention time. Dota 2. Metal Gear Solid. Resident Evil 2. These are my top 20s. Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
Clap.
The Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Legend of Grimrock. Gear O' War. StarCraft. Serious Sam. Dark Soul.
Singular.
Yes. So that way people know I'm talking about one. Yep.
Is that it?
That was my top 20.
Pachi.
Or the honorable mentions, at least.
Personally, I hate video games.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people do in this day and age, right?
I hate video games because of their practices. I don't hate them because they make me hail Satan and want to shoot up a school.
Can we go back to that? I remember when that, like Grand Theft Auto.
Can we go back to that area?
I mean, honest to God.
Can we go back to hot coffee when hot coffee was a big deal? Instead of, oh my God, my company is taking all of my money. Or at least they're trying to.
Grand Theft Auto came out and people were like, people are going to die if this game comes out. Like people, kids are very impressionable.
They're just going to drop dead.
People will die if this game comes out.
People will be in the same room
like
as the box of this game, and they'll just drop dead like a Valve source character.
It's gonna be like the shy guy off of SCP. If you like stare at it, you just die. You just drop dead. But it was like it was stuff like that, like Pokemon. That was like, that's a sign of the devil. And if you have your kids playing,
it is. Did you see that Lizard Man? He has wings and he has like devil horns. He's red too.
I would happily go back to that instead of. There's this sexual weirdo, and hey guys, we're just gonna lay off like a good 40% of our staff. Okay guys, here's another live service escapade.
What do you mean this isn't what you wanted?
Oh hey guys, everything's okay. We got Nicki Minaj in our game now. Oh thank goodness. Here's the Deadpool skin that you. Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Oh, we're so back.
Oh, we're now in partnership with KFC. The Colonel is in the building.
Oh, no way. Also, the civil rights movement isn't as big as our game movement.
Truly.
Thank you, Tim Sweeney.
The most oppressed
Thank you, Tim Sweeney.
gender.
Gamers.
Yes.